All right, so in this video, I'm going to answer the number one question I get asked all the time. Are you gay? It's none of your business. But anyways, the question I get asked all the time is, what do I use to record my tracks? How do I record my drums? How do I record my guitars? What's my gear? All that stuff. So with that being said, I'm just going to use this song as an example. This is a brand new song that I just released. It's a song that I wrote for my wife that I've been working on for a while. It was like a surprise gift I did for her. And I've been working on it for a while now. But the thing is that I'm not much of a good singer. If you guys have heard any of my old songs, I'm not really proud of my singing. But you know what? I decided I wanted to sing in this one because, you know, a song, if you're going to write a song for somebody, there has to be some kind of lyrics to it, right? So I decided to sing in it. I'm just going to break down how I did the drums, the guitars, and the bass part, and probably the solo. But so for the drums, what I usually use, I used to record my drum tracks on my actual drum kit. But the thing is that that's way too time consuming. You know, I have a full-time job, and to spend time with my family and do this and do that, it's like, especially to try to do this and try to do my YouTube stuff and, you know, writing tracks, it's like very time consuming. Working on guitars, it's very time consuming. So, you know, this is a lot easier. It's a lot more convenient. If you guys are trying to make your own tracks, your own songs, you know, this is very convenient. So the plugin that I'm using now is MT Power Drum Kit 2. It's actually free. So if you guys want to try it out, go ahead. When it comes to drums, I try to keep it as simple as possible because I do guitar reviews. So I'd rather get the drums in and out, get the bass in and out, focus on the guitars. But for this one, you know, I wanted to do something different. So I did focus on the drums, the guitar, not the bass, because I fucking hate recording bass. Fucking bass, right? So, you know, now I've been playing drums around the same amount of time that I've been playing guitar. So I know my drummers and I know what drum tracks, what sounds good, what doesn't sound good. So I know how to write a good, you know, decent drum track. So for the drums, right? Let's hear it. Very simple, 16 notes, double bass. So what I do is I actually record each part one by one. Believe it or not. Machine gun style, right? So obviously I use a metronome. You have to use a metronome for this kind of stuff. So everything's in tune. I mean, everything's on time. But I record that first, and then I throw in the snare, the top and the bottom snare. Throw in some toms. Overhead. But with that's actually a lot easier. So if you guys can get like the bass part, like you guys can get your bass and your snare in, you guys are money. So let's say like we have this already, and then you guys want to throw in your overheads. And stuff like that. But that's how I do it. One by one, because trying to do like all that at the same time with your fingers is not gonna work out. Trust me, it's a lot easier to do with, you know, your hands and feet. Yeah, it's pretty difficult if you guys are trying to do all that. That's how I do my drums. So for the drums, I got very inspired, believe it or not, by one of my favorite drummers is James Cassels from Maxine Alexandria. That dude's phenomenal when it comes to like double bass. So I was like, you know, all my breakdowns, and especially my China work, I try to, you know, do what he does, you know, because it just sounds freaking amazing. And it's a little bit complicated to do it on this thing because when you're doing it in an actual drum, it just comes naturally. But when you're doing it with this, it's just like, you know, when you're playing drums, you actually feel the power and the motion. But now my guitars, I have one pan to the left, one pan to the right. 83%. You know, I don't like to do 100. I don't like to do 50, 65, 40, 60, 40, whatever it is. A very simple chord progression that I use for this one because it sounds pretty emotional. So, you know. And I use my Kramer Beretta Special with Nicole's face on it. It's got Nicole's face on it. So, it's got Synyster Gates pickup on it. So, it does sound pretty good. And it's a cheaper, affordable guitar. It's not like like any of my other guitars are like more than $1,000, but you know, it's a $200-$300 guitar with a good pickup, and it's got Nicole's face on it, so it's pretty appropriate. So that's the guitar that I used for the entire song. So it goes to show you guys don't really need an expensive guitar to write music. Excuse me. So the bass, when it comes to the bass, I get so annoyed recording bass, so I just mimic the guitar. Whatever the guitar is doing, I record the same exact thing, just because I'm not a bass player, so I don't know how to do anything cool. So the bass that I actually used was my Peavey Millennium AC bass. It's a pretty good bass. So yeah, it's just boring. All right, so now I'm gonna get into my vocals. I'm not really proud of my vocals just because I can't sing, so I do apologize if that was ear-piercing for you guys, if you guys actually heard the song. But what I did was, I love hearing songs that have like a chorus pad type of vocal thing into it, so like the woes and the oohs and the ahs. So, you know, I decided to do that. So on the right side, it's just the main melody. And then on the right side, on the left side, I have the third and the fifth harmony of that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. But it kind of does complement like the actual song. When it comes to my vocals, I have a very nasally voice. Naturally, I just have a nasally voice. So when I try to sing, it comes out the same way. So unfortunately, I know I can't lead sing. I know I can do backup vocals and stuff like that. But when it comes to lead singing, I am the worst. But I tried to in this song just because it was like a special song, and I tried my best. But anyways. Got a little creepy there. That's basically like the chorus. then it drops, you know, to some heavy shit over here. So this part over here is a little bit of an insider just for me and Nicole. So we have pet guinea pigs. So I was like, one of our guinea pigs' name is Daisy. The other one's Biscuit. And I had a guinea pig that died, unfortunately. His name was Roger. So I decided to do this little number.
Commander, come in, Commander. Do you hear me? All I see is daisies around, and they're serving nothing but biscuits. Roger that.
Yeah, it's a little insider. It had nothing to do with the song itself, to be honest, when I fucking wrote that, but I was like, whatever.
Roger that.
These parts are very Avenged Sevenfold driven riffs, like very inspired by Avenged Sevenfold, because I am a huge Avenged Sevenfold fan. That's the chorus. Now for this breakdown here, I was very inspired by Bullet for My Valentine and Asking Alexandria, like their newer albums. They started doing riffs like this, like where it's like very open, but it like slides, you know. And Avenged Sevenfold has done that in the past, I think in the song Scream. But I wanted to do something like that in this song. And then this riff right over here is Pantera, very, very Pantera. For the solo part, usually when it comes to my solos, I just like to whatever comes first, you know, whatever I get inspired by. So I decided I didn't want to do anything crazy like shreddy. So this is what I came up with. Now for this part, I actually just went crazy because I was like, I didn't know how to transition from that into the chorus again without it all sounding the same, because they're the same notes. But then I switched it up like on that last part. So I had to do something different for this part over here that's coming up right now. And I just had to go fucking crazy because I didn't know how to transition, so And that's how that song came about. Oops. I keep it very simple. Just drums, bass, guitars. Usually that's what I do, just drums, bass, guitars. I did have a bunch of like other like effects on it, like piano parts and all this, but I was like, I wanted to keep it raw, I wanted to keep it raw and just straight up like, it's like it's not super pretty, so this is what I came up with. And I hope you guys enjoyed the song. That's how I basically record almost all of my tracks. Is I first start off with my drums, and then the guitar parts, the rhythm parts are the most easiest things for me to come up with, and the lead parts takes me about a couple days. And then, bass part just record after I'm done with everything. And, that's how I do it. So you guys asked me, and that's how I basically do my stuff. And I guess I'll just show you guys my gear if you guys want to know what kind of gear I use. The amp I use is my Boss Katana 50 watt. It's not a 100 watt. It's a 50 watt straight into my Mesa Boogie cap clone. This thing is freaking awesome. One of my buddies from Sam Ash actually hooked me up with this thing. And if you guys want to get like a big amp sound, definitely telling you guys, get it. I just plug it in, my amp, straight into this, and then this thing goes straight into my interface. But yeah, I got that as my overdrive. I use my EVH 5150 overdrive. Sometimes I use this thing, but this thing is my main pedal. Straight into my Scarlett 2i2. I think this is a 2i2. Yeah. Awesome. I had this thing for what, like 3 years almost. But yeah, and then I just run it straight into my DAW, which I just use Reaper. It's free, and I've been using this thing also for 3-4 years now. Absolutely no problems. So highly recommend you guys using this. If you guys are beginners or if you guys are advanced or anything, highly recommend it. And with that, I'll catch you guys on the next one.